de una forma diferente.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money. The one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Virusi vya korona huenea unapokaribiana na mtu aliyeambukizwa kupitia matone, haswa wakati anapokohoa au kupiga chafya, na pia kwa kugusa sehemu au vifaa vilivyo na virusi hivi. Ukihisi dalili kama vile kupandwa na joto, kikohozi, maumivu mwilini na ugumu wa kupumua, na unashuku ulikaribiana na mwadhiriwa, jitenge kisha piga nambari 719 ili upate usaidizi. Mtu yeyote anaishi na maradhi sugu kama vile virusi vya HIV, kifua kikuu, saratani na mengineo anashauriwa kutumia dawa zake jinsi alivyoshauriwa na daktari bila kukosa. Komesha korona. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na serikali ya Kenya.
Good evening, welcome to Sunday Express. Tonight, politicians are trading barbs over who is fit to lead the country. We have details of that story and many more tonight. And of course, also tonight, we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. And one person here, Serfine. Serfine?
Yes. I'm just checking. Something has been trending, and just a minute, I'll be with you in a bit.
Really?
Yeah, imagine how many followers I have online.
Oh, starts interesting.
Anyway, that is on a light note. That is deliberate. That is how our living rooms currently are. We have lost our families to technology. We are addicted to the gadgets that we have. How do we save ourselves from the negative impacts of technology? How do we even manage the screen time of our children? How much is too much exposure of screen time to our young children? That is our conversation tonight.
All right, now I understand why you were stuck on that screen. It's time for us to begin the bulletin. But first things first, here are the highlights.
It is only in Kenya where the opposition pretends to run the government. And the opposition runs corruption cartels in government. And the same opposition pretends to run lectures on how to fight corruption.
Stop hiding behind the handshake.
Deputy President William Ruto accuses ODM leader Raila Odinga of infiltrating the government to derail programs.
The bottom-up economic model has no concrete plans. ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi dismisses as hypocritical DP William Ruto's political pet project.
And one suspected criminal shot dead, 2 others escape in a security raid to smoke out criminal gangs from Nairobi's Kioria estate. All right, welcome to the bulletin. My name is John Jacob Kioria.
And my name is Serfine Achieng Ouma. My guest, Jane Ngati, is already in studio, a counseling psychologist. We'll be delving into that particular subject later on. If you have any questions with regards to the challenges you're facing in managing screen time and technology for your children, start posting them at KBC Channel 1. We'll be sampling some of them as we continue.
And before we forget, we have a sign language interpreter. His name is Baron Bully. Let's get right in. And Deputy President William Ruto has hit out at ODM leader Raila Odinga, accusing him of derailing government projects.
The Deputy President claims that the opposition leader used his handshake tricks to infiltrate the government and is currently running a cartel that is busy swindling public resources.
The Deputy President, while attending a church service at the Presbyterian Church in Nairobi's Umoja 1 estate, lashed out at Raila, whom he accused of exporting confusion into government. Ruto claiming that the opposition, which Odinga leads, was running a cartel within government that has led to the loss of taxpayers' money.
Na ndio mnaona saa hii wanahangaika, hawajui wako upinzani, wako kwa serikali. Wakiwa kwa serikali wanaibia vijana, wakiwa kwa upinzani wanaibia watu wagonjwa kupitia KEMSA billionaires.
According to Ruto, Raila's handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta has derailed the government's agenda.
It is only in Kenya where the opposition pretends to run the government. And the opposition runs corruption cartels in government. And the same opposition pretends to run lectures on how to fight corruption.
Ruto claiming that the ODM chief was being contemptuous of the poor, insisting that the bottom-up economics he propagates is what will bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Siku ile nilikusaidia my friend ukuwe prime minister, mama mboga hakulalamika, mtu ya bodaboda hakulalamika. Mbona saa hizi nimesema nataka kusaidia mama mboga na mtu wa bodaboda unalalamika?
Thank you for believing in the hustler nation. Thank you for giving the hustlers of Kenya a voice.
It is a difficult route, but finally Moses secured the Israelites from Egypt. You secure us.
Ruto maintaining that those harboring thoughts that the next general election will be postponed are living in their dreamland.
Still on that political note, Amani National Congress party leader Musalia Mudavadi now says the only way to fix the economy is to seal loopholes being exploited by corrupt officials to evade justice.
Mudavadi, who spoke in Nakuru County, claiming that the economic model being perpetuated by the Deputy President William Ruto to fix Kenya's ailing economy through bottom-up approach is hypocritical and will bear no fruit.
Amani National Congress party leader Musalia Mudavadi has castigated leaders whom he accused of offering Kenyans half-baked solutions to solve the country's ailing economy. Musalia, who finalized his day 2 tour of Nakuru County on Sunday, claimed the only way to fix the economy is through recovery of stolen monies and prosecution of those squandering public funds.
Anasema bottom up, mwingine anasema trickle down. My friend, wachana na hii maneno, ni ufisadi na watu kupora mali. Tuzibe hayo mashimo, tuachane na mambo ya bottoms up, tuachane na mambo ya trickle down.
Mudavadi says his first assignment if he wins the 2022 presidential elections will be to regulate taxes burdening Kenyans.
How will we lower the taxes? We shall fight corruption.
How will we lower the taxes? We shall get rid of wastage and we shall lower the taxes.
Meanwhile, Baringo Senator Gideon Moi has appealed to the Court of Appeal to quash High Court ruling on the Building Bridges initiative, claiming a lot of grassroots development is at stake. Speaking in Mogotio in Baringo County, Moi said the proposal on additional constituencies as envisioned in the nullified BBI will ensure proper allocation of resources and equal representation.
Mogotio ibaki. Unajua bila BBI Mogotio inaenda. So tuombe BBI kuje, Mogotio ibaki.
And the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has called on the church to point out ills in the country's leadership. Muturi, who was in Mbeere, said the church has a duty to protect Kenyans from leaders who want to exploit the pulpit.
Please, as a church, answer those questions. Let us hold us to account. I long for a day when all of us will feel proud to walk into our public hospitals and seek treatment there.
Meanwhile, the Usawa party associated with Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria is seeking to unite the central Kenya ahead of the general elections. Speaking during the registration of members at Mukuyu Market in Murang'a town, Iria said the party targets to recruit over 6 million members before mid next year and will field candidates from the position of member of the county assembly to the president in the next general elections.
Hii chama sio chama ya Mount Kenya, sio chama ya Murang'a. Tuna wale ambao wanaandikisha wanachama Kakamega, Magharibi, kuna kule Nyanza, wengine wako Coast, na nitakuwa ninaenda kila mahali, kila pembe ya jamhuri yetu ili kuzindua huu mpango wa kuwasajili wanachama.
For Sunday Express, I'm Gladys Mungai.
From politics to matters health, Kisii County government has enhanced the bed capacity in the county hospitals, among other measures to address the unprecedented rise in COVID-19 infections attributed to the aggressive Delta variant. The variant has pushed the county's positivity rate up to 25%. This even as the country recorded 277 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Beatrice Gatonye-Ngetich with the details.
Public Health Dr. Richard Onkware says 310 beds for COVID-19 patients isolation and 15 others in the ICU have been put on standby at the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital. Emergency oxygen is also installed to deal with any eventualities in the county.
Just in case we have an upsurge of cases, we have our isolation center at the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital, which has a capacity of 310 isolation beds. We also have an ICU with ICU beds and monitors at 15.
Kenya on Sunday recorded 277 positive cases of COVID-19 from a sample size of 3,796 tested in 24 hours. The positivity rate now stands at 7.3%. From the cases, 272 are Kenyans while 5 are foreigners. 158 are males while 119 females. The youngest is a 10-month-old baby while the oldest is 95 years old. Nairobi recorded the highest number of cases with 64, Mombasa 31, Nandi 27, Siaya 22 and Nakuru 21 among others. The Ministry of Health says 669 patients have recovered from the disease, 588 from home-based and isolation care program, while 81 from various health facilities countrywide. The total number of recoveries now stands at 127,625. 4 patients succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits on diverse dates in the month of June 2021. Total fatalities are now 3,675. Beatrice Gatonye-Ngetich, Sunday Express.
Now let's continue keeping tabs on that story about COVID, and the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic cannot be overemphasized. Thousands of Kenyans have lost their jobs and businesses and are doing everything they can to remain open. And for one Elizabeth Nyambura, COVID-19 has taught her that necessity is the mother of invention, as Nancy Okware now reports.
Early morning in Thika town, Elizabeth Nyambura carefully assembles her tools of trade, that is her shaving machine and brushes. A few minutes later, she sets off, ready to face the day. After being rendered jobless by the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020 and with bills to pay, she decided to operate a mobile barber shop.
Initially nimekuwa nikifanya kazi ya kufunza, but after COVID na kujipata huna kazi ya kufanya sababu shule zilifungwa, nikajipata sina, otherwise itabidi nifikirie.
She offers other services such as massage and facials. She says the returns from her business venture have been encouraging, enough to take her through the month.
So for example, this month you make 40,000, next month utengeneze 35, next month but 160. So italingana na bookings za client.
Nyambura says she has managed to establish a network of clients who are pleased with her services.
Hapa main stage 2 Thika, watu wengi walikuwa wameugana, nikafikiria acha niende nikaangalie nini watu wanafanya wamezungukia pale. Nilipofika pale nikapata Eliza ameconnect kinyozi yake, ananyoa madereva hapo stage.
Na kwa hiyo services zake mimi naweza kuwa kusema ya kwamba huzienjoy, si kwangu mimi mwenyewe tu, mpaka jamii yangu.
Tukienda kwa vinyozi nyingi tunapata hali ya usafi haiwezi kutiliwa maanani sana. Kwa hivyo niliweza kufurahishwa na kazi yake na kwamba anaweza kufanyia pia massage vizuri.
She hopes to gather enough capital to set up a permanent workstation and empower more women on the power of self-employment. Nancy Okware, Sunday Express.
Really inspiring story there. Nyambura struggling to survive in this COVID-19 season. Now moving on, leaders and residents of Pokot and Marakwet have held a peace meeting at the Chesegon border to calm tensions after 2 peace crusaders were killed by suspected bandits. The 2 leaders were gunned down at Cheptulel area before a class 4 pupil was killed in retaliatory attacks. Leaders have called on everyone holding illegal guns to surrender them to authorities.
This incident is seen as a threat to the peace that has prevailed in the region for a while now. The resurgence of insecurity has affected learning in the area, led to the closure of markets, and some have already fled to safety. No one has been arrested, even after residents and local leadership from both communities gave out a list of those propagating violence in the region.
Majina tulipeleka kwa serikali na wa serikali wako hapa na Philip. Ikifika wakati ile sasa tunapeana kwa serikali wa kina DC, wanatuambia hawa wamefika hatua kali. Na serikali tunasema mfuatilie watu wenye walikuja wakaua watu wetu wawili hapa.
West Pokot Governor Professor John Lonyangapuo and several MPs have tasked elders from both sides to form a peace committee which will spearhead peace efforts and conduct a Pokot tradition ritual known as Lapai to punish the killers and weed out the criminals.
Tusisikie kelele na kilio tena kuanzia leo. Ati kuna risasi imechelewa inapiga kelele. Kuna mtu anatangatanga na bunduki. Mpaka anatisha watoto walani.
Let's get into some business now. And Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency has flagged off goods worth 63 million shillings to Dubai as part of preparations for a 6-month World Expo Dubai 2020, which kicks off on the 1st of October. Kenya's theme for the Expo is Feel the Energy.
With the Expo expected to kick off from the 1st of October this year to 31st March 2022, The categories of goods being flagged off, which include coffee, tea, textile, furniture, leather footballs, beauty products, coconut products, soap, sanitizers and assorted handicrafts, will enable exhibitors sell the unique and authentic products to expo visitors during the 6 months period of the expo. This exercise is being conducted by the agency through a logistics firm named Africa Freight Systems Limited, which will ensure the country's kiosk is well stocked way before kickoff of the expo.
But we are looking at a situation where this expo is going to spur economic growth, not only in Kenya but worldwide. So
the multi-agency committee in preparation for the expo has membership drawn from both public and private institutions.
I must say that this time, just working with Keproba and seeing the kind of products they're going to send and the variety which they have, we are going to be much better than what we had in Milan in the last one.
My expectations for the Dubai Expo 2021, of course, it's gaining access into newer markets, hoping to expand into that place, to partner with different people.
Kenya Week activities, which will be the climax of the Kenya's participation at the expo, include Valentine's Day on-ground activation with the theme From Kenya with Love, where Kenya plans to distribute 1 million stems of roses and summer flowers to expo participants. Also, Kenya's Counties and Economic Regional Blocks Day that will focus on investment opportunities available. For Sunday Express, I'm Serfine Robbie.
All right, in a bit we'll be discussing how to manage technology in our family setup, in our environment, in the home spaces. We realize that what was meant to make the world a global village, what was meant to connect us, has now disconnected us even further. We'll be understanding how do we deal with this technological invasion in our home space. It is having benefits, but also it comes with a myriad of challenges. So how do we manage, how do we balance this dilemma?
And it's quite interesting because today I know you're talking about parenting, but think about it. Technology has also put a strain on marriages, if you were to think about it. Because as you talk about parenting, you also have parents who are also deep in their iPads, phones, or TVs. And so generally it's a big problem.
It's a big problem. We'll be trying to dissect it when we come back later on. My guest, Jane Ngati, is already in studio, a counseling psychologist. Later we'll be asking all the pertinent questions that we ought to ask concerning this subject. If you have any, and if in any case you're facing this nightmare, please tell us about your experience at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag is Sunday Express.
Or you could gather some confessions around the table, right?
We'll be discussing that after the break. Stay with us.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money, the one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. and keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
How come someone wants to kill me? Father dislikes me. And Lady Shu and Rosha are bullies.
Han Yuxi, remember you offended me first.
Who is it?
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express, and in a bit we'll be heading over to the interview between Serfine Achieng and Jen Gatia, counseling psychologist on issues of parenting. But let's get back to news now. And police in Nairobi have shot dead a suspected criminal in Kayole Estate during a security operation in the estate.
The security officers are hot in pursuit of two other suspects who escaped police dragnet.
Confirming the incident, Sub-County Police Commander Paul Wambugu says a homemade gun, rounds of ammunition and other crude weapons used by criminal gangs were found.
It is a sigh of relief to residents in Kayole after one criminal was gunned down following an operation to root out criminals terrorizing civilians in the area. The operation carried out under the supervision of the area police commander Paul Wambugu and DCIO Rio Bagisiri, so two suspects escaped. Wambugu says through cooperation with residents, police officers have identified the crime hotspot, which include Ngurue in Kayole, Mihango, Obama Estate near Kayole Junction and Siweto.
And some of the incidences that we have been getting is related to mugging and members of the public who have been victims.
Elsewhere, residents from Kamwega in Shinyalu constituency, Kakamega County, were treated to such a bizarre incident on Sunday after a middle-aged man exhumed the grave where his daughter was buried, claiming it was not buried properly. Efforts by residents to stop the 52-year-old Agri Siema digging the grave of his 14-year-old daughter were futile. The man was violent and was threatening to kill anybody stopping him.
Kimbia tumesimamianga huko kwa miti kwa barabara huko, tumechoka na yeye, amefanya vitu kama mwenda simu.
Hii ni maajabu ya Yesu. Kama hii maneno iko kwa ukoo yao.
However, police arrested him and he was later released. According to residents, the man has accused his wife of allegedly having sexual affair with his son, Timothy Kipnusu, for Sunday Express.
Now on to what has been happening across the counties. A family in Gashororo village in Juja of Kiambu County is appealing to well-wishers to help them raise some 1.2 million shillings to secure the release of the body of their kin from the Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary.
The family says James Mungai Ndirango was admitted at the facility where he accrued the colossal amount before his demise.
James Mugai Dirango, a father of 7, was admitted at the Kenyatta National Hospital after falling from a tree in May, where he stayed for 2 months before he passed away. The family is pleading with well-wishers to help them raise 1.2 million shillings to clear the pending medical bills and lay James to rest.
Tumekataza mwili, tulikuwa na bill ya 1.2 bilioni. Tunaomba mtusaidie.
In Samburu County, a group of activists has called on parents to take keen interest and monitor the behavior of their children, especially girls, so as to caution them from gender-based violence.
Kwa hivyo nawaomba wazazi pia na hata sisi kina mama, hebu tuchukue jukumu letu la kuangalia watoto wetu wako wapi, wanafanya nini, wanatembea aje, wanaishi aje.
Meanwhile, residents living in houses in Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company quarters in Eastleigh have staged a demonstration to protest planned demolition of the houses. In Tana River County, the National Irrigation Authority is implementing a 7.5 billion shilling gravity flow system at Karakora in Burato to replace generators in irrigation.
Tunatarajia katika villages, I think 3 village gani zingine tunataka kuweka zingine 2. Ndio sasa kuwe na maji ya kutosha hapa, mkulima akitaka kulima kwa sababu shamba lipo.
Meanwhile, 3 members of parliament from Baringo County have accused Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha of effecting far-reaching reforms in the education sector without stakeholder input.
Sheria inasema kwamba kila jambo katika nchi hii ambaye inakusa maisha ya wananchi, maisha ya watoto, lazima tuelewane kama sisi wote stakeholders.
In Kitui County, residents have opposed the reopening of donkey abattoir in Kithioko, arguing the facility will reduce the population of donkeys in the region. Finally, the county government of Isiolo has kicked off a vaccination exercise for livestock across all 10 wards in the county.
Saa hii hiyo magonjwa ambayo tunazungumzia ni threat, sababu unaona hii mifugo itaenda kuenda mahali moja mingi. Kwa hivyo lazima tuindunge ndio iwe na nguvu iweze kuzuia hiyo magonjwa.
The exercise, in collaboration with different organizations, aims to build disease resilience among livestock to enable them withstand the challenges of already creeping drought in the region. For Sunday Express, I'm Amboyo Tiende.
Well, it's that time when we switch over to the other end and meet Serfine Achieng and Jen Gatia. The conversation tonight is on issues of parenting and how you manage screen time for your children. Our Twitter handle is open at KBC Channel 1, at Kioria, at Serfine_Achieng. Is that you can send us your feedback and she will be keen to read them in the course of the interview. But for now, over to you, Serfine.
Thank you so much, Kioria, for that. Of course, this is where we begin our first conversation on this new look KBC on Sunday Express. This segment will be focusing on the social issues, the challenges that families face out there, and what we can do just to better the society at large. So tonight, we want to talk about the dilemmas of parenting in the digital age. And in studio, joining me to have this conversation is a counseling psychologist, Jen Gatia. Thank you so much for creating time. Of course, just to take us through what has been happening, this dilemma. You could be in your living room right now and your children are stuck on their phone, or they could be glued to the screens just watching something, and it has affected your communication, your connection as a family. The challenges you're facing is what we want to talk about right now. Let's first of all get to hear from a parent by the name Doreen Katiba Achia, who I talked to earlier. She shared this with me concerning how frustrating it is for her to parent in this digital age.
My biggest nightmare, there are so many, but let me just mention one. Not knowing what your children are actually watching and not knowing who they are communicating to. That is a nightmare to me. And it has affected us in this way. In this last 2 years of, let me call it, Corona period, you somehow allow your child, the gadget has become like a babysitter. So you allow your child to have it, sort of to soothe them. And they've become so attached to it that there's a separation between the family members. That is a nightmare. How am I coping? I am doing my best. I have put in place timetables that when it is mealtime, I don't want to see your gadget near you. When it is devotion time, I don't want to see your gadget unless you're using it for music or maybe to read a verse. And when it is study time, keep it away unless you're on Google Classroom. So those are strategies that I've tried to put across. Again, I am trying to tell them, if you must use your earphones, use them away from the rest of the family. Because I come out as a nag when I keep calling and shouting and nobody hears me, because everything is here. I'd like to ask our guest today, when you come across such, how do you become a better parent? By being their friend and also understanding that they need to use those things, because they sometimes carry them to school. How can I control the use of that? And another question is, being an old school parent, as I mentioned before, how will I not keep checking what my boys are watching and not look like mommy is a snitch?
All right, Doreen Katiba Achieng there, sharing, a mother of 3, by the way, grown boys, and she's sharing with us her experience parenting in the digital age. Thank you so much, Jane, for creating time for us. Doreen there just saying how frustrating it is for her to parent in this digital age, trying to access even what information her children are exposed to in this era, and, just trying to come up with strategies on what can work for her to create a technologically friendly environment in her home. And she has very important questions which we'll be looking at later on in the course of this conversation. But just to bring you in, looking at the trends and how technology has invaded our spaces in the home environment, what would you say? Are we connecting as it was supposed to be, or we are disconnecting from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective. First, we need to acknowledge and appreciate that we don't have a manual for parenting. So when other probably variables come in, like the phones, the TV and all that, part of the social media that has taken away our children. It is true that our children have been invaded. Actually, it is not the technology that has, brought it itself in, it's the children who have adopted to it. They have actually taken in, and now they have been captured, and it's like they have no free will. So parents are struggling with keeping their children away from these gadgets, particularly the phone, the iPads, and so on. Probably the worst that has happened, and it's important to look at it here, is children no longer talk to their parents. Parents are not able to engage their children in a reasonable conversation. Children across all age, especially teenagers, including even the younger adults who are still at home. The younger children have actually been taken away from play. Children ordinarily would engage in play with other children, even with their parents, and out there they are doing things.
But now if they play video games. They sit on the couch.
Yes, that is true.
And are passive the whole day.
Yeah, and probably the tragedy about that is it won't help them to be as creative as they would if the game was originally started by the child. These are ready-made games, and when they are ready-made, it makes a big difference. With the child, you only have to follow certain patterns, but they are not able to be creative enough.
So it does not open them up.
Yeah.
Let me take you back a little bit, Jane. We all acknowledge that it's a big problem in families. Even as we speak right now, you'd be surprised how many parents have been affected by this. I just want to understand where the rain started beating us. It was meant to be a good thing. It was supposed to open us up to opportunities and information. But then all of a sudden, it's actually coming in to interfere with how our way of life in our homesteads. Where did the rain start beating us? Where did we go wrong? What is it that we are not doing right when it comes to handling technology in the family?
Well, that's a very important question and a very critical observation. We would probably say that the parent meant good for the child, because the parent needs to even communicate to the child when they are away. For instance, telephone, and particularly the smartphone. So, but the parent at some point lost it when they didn't realize that this child is getting probably what I would call obsessed with a gadget. Because the gadget, you keep on taking them here, there, everywhere. And particularly the smartphone is good, but it has a way of carrying the person away from the practical and the actual deals that they need to be doing. So the parent may not have known the extent to which this child will be able to manage that particular gadget. And because there aren't any possible measures, we can only tell when the behavior seems to change. When the child seems to behave like what they have observed, what they have accessed, sometimes even from YouTube and all that, that's when we realize. And when we talk to our children and they are not responding, then we know that they are actually already engraved. They have been carried away into what they are doing.
All right. Sometimes it could be a little bit too late, for a parent to discover that. But one thing I'm learning from what you've already shared with us is that the content that these children are exposed to can actually, shape their worldview. They learn and they can actually shape their character based on what they're exposed to. We'll talk more about that when we come back from this short commercial break. Please continue interacting with us on social media. Send in your questions and your opinions at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag is Sunday Express.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money. The one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank, which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits. If you have been in contact with someone who is suspected or has tested positive for COVID-19, self-quarantine for 14 days and call 7194 for help. Self-quarantine restricts movement and the spread of the disease and protects your family, friends, and community from being infected. During self-quarantine, you are advised to stay in a separate room, disinfect surfaces and clothing with appropriate disinfectant, avoid sharing household items, including utensils, towels, and beddings, do not receive visitors, wear an appropriate face mask if you must be around other people. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, family, and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Siku moja mosquito ilipata ujauzito ikazaa mtoto. Sasa hiyo mama ya mosquito ikatuma mtoto mosquito iende ikapige doria iwaje kukaa kwa nyumba. Sasa hii mtoto mosquito ikaenda ikarudi. Hii mtoto mosquito ikaambia mama yake, mama, mimi nimeenda kila mahali watu wanapigia mimi makofi, watu wamefurahiana na mimi sana. Mama, hii mosquito ikaambia mtoto yake, hao wapigi wewe makofi eti wanafurahia wewe. Hiyo walikuwa wanataka kuua wewe.
Ili kupata skization hiyo ya mosquito, bonyeza *811 *967#. Bonyeza *811 *967#.
Vile video wa kile na wazimu.
Zari. Mchawi. Miaka yote mnakaa naye singemjua. Jana wewe nilikuvumilia na leo hii watakumtia wazimu.
Ushasikia chizi akirogwa tena?
Unacheza na moto.
Ni usiku sasa, matatizo kuna nini?
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, si uniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
We,
insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine. Sina habari. Na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive Motor Insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo.
What do you want now? After what you did, I don't want you anywhere near me.
Please forgive me for what happened.
Do you think what you did to me can be easily forgiven?
You have no restraint when you've set your mind on doing something.
Goodness, you're so cold and cruel. How can you, my own son?
Look, I swear to you, I'm telling the whole truth. All I want you to do is to contact my sister to let her know that I'm here. And I want you to inform her that she's in danger. All that I'm asking you is to get in touch with my sister and let her know, please.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We're still discussing the dilemmas of parenting in this digital age and still inviting your feedback on this particular conversation in studio. I'm engaging Jane Gatti, a counseling psychologist. And Jane, before we took the break, we had just begun to dissect, where the rain began, hitting us. And I just want to ask you this question concerning what sort of example as adults we have set for the children. We are trying to address the problem of addiction, the problem of too much exposure to screen time. And when I'm saying screen time, I mean TV, the iPads, the phones, and anything that you can get that exposes you to the outside environment. But we are not looking at what we are doing. Are we doing anything different as a society that would act as a good example to the children who are coming up in terms of how to properly manage the screen time?
That's a very important question, Serfine, that you have brought up. Children will always learn from adults, and the immediate adult in this case is that parent. Children who have parents, ideally, children are always taken care of by adults. And whatever that parent does is very important to the child, because the child believes that the adult is always right. Whatever is done by adults should also be done by children, because the pace is already set. It is not a big wonder that parents will also spend a lot of time on the same gadgets that they are trying to take away from the children, or that they are complaining about. So much time on probably their phones. They are not necessarily even calling or receiving calls, but they are on other areas, A smartphone has everything to offer.
Just passing time.
Exactly. And parents are also not talking to each other, even in the presence of the child. Listen, they are also engraved. They are, in that world. And that space is the one that the child also wants to occupy, because they want to do what they see. That is what we call learning by imitation. Whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, but the parents set the pace and the child believes it's good enough for them also to imitate and do.
So, Jen, as we ask where our children, the children are asking where are our parents.
Good.
So it's like a two-edged sword.
It's actually a vicious cycle.
All right.
Yes.
I want to take you to something else that is also crucial that people would like to know. At what is the recommended age to start exposing your child to technology? And as they get older, they want to have a little freedom on what programs they want to watch, which websites they want to visit. What should be your role as a parent in this phase? Giving them that freedom, but still, having a role to play in their, a screen lifestyle, if I may use that term.
Wow, good observation there. I would say that the parent needs to walk with the child, walking in that sense of the need to grow with the child. The child should not go too far from the parent's understanding of where the child is. And whereas we may not talk about a particular age, that the child should be allowed, for instance, to handle the smartphone, to stay with it, to scroll, to do games and all that. But it is important for a parent to know, does this child have the capacity? Are they of age even to understand that you can only spend this much time on your gadget and more time on play and more time on study and so on?
Because how do you handle that in an era where these children are smarter even than the parents? They can even teach you how to navigate through your phone if you're not careful. How do you manage?
Yes, there is still a way that one can manage. Serfine, a child has never been ahead of the parent in terms of the experiences of parenting. And that's why one is the parent. I may not be ahead of technology. Actually, my children, my teenage children, help me. They are now, actually, some of them adolescents, but they help me to set, even when I reset my phone and things are gone haywire, I can't manage it, they come and fix it for me. But that does not mean that they will be able to manage me or to control me in terms of, when I call you, you need to be able to respond to me. The parents still need to be in charge. Most of the phones that children have, for instance, because phone is actually the big thing here, it's the parent who bought it and provided it to the child. The better way to do it is not even to talk about you are not of age to handle this. It is an agreement that I have provided this smartphone to you for good use, probably even to do homework and all that. Sometimes like
the online classes,
yes,
now in the COVID era,
yes, the homeschooling and all that.
Yeah.
It is for good use.
Jane, I don't know, what are some of the risks that we are facing in the home environment with having these children spend so much time on screen? Let's talk about the safety concerns, even in terms of content that they're exposed to. What are some of the things that parents need to be careful about?
Parents need to be careful about very many things. Talk about even videos, movies, films and all that. Even some cartoons. If the parent is not careful, the child will kind of probably put them on the back seat. The child has a way of pretending that what they are viewing is good and they don't want to cause that alarm. But it is the responsibility of the parent to keep finding out from the child, what is it that you do? Can we share part of what
so be part
you
of
view?
That world.
Oh yes.
Be part of it. Watch those cartoons, watch those programs with them.
Yeah.
All right.
I must step out of my comfort zone. Gadgets like phones, like TV, iPads and all that have a way of getting people away from each other and not disturbing one another. So the parent should not be put on the back seat. They have to be able to monitor. They actually need to ask the child, now that you've been on that gadget for a while, can we share what movie was it? Because some of those are not good for children. Yeah.
Let me take you to a question that Doreen posted. It actually relates to what we are talking about right now. And she was just concerned about how one can be in control of what their children are watching without appearing to be a snitch. That was her choice of word. I mean, just not sort of appear like you're a police or you're policing them around. How do you manage to establish that trust so that they don't feel like you're really invading in their private space too much?
Somehow, every child can take personal responsibility, but the parent has to make it clear that this is not good for you in this home. We talk of family values even, and family values need to be extended even to things like the movies that they follow, the kind of cartoons that they do if they are younger children. That is very important, including even how they communicate on phone, because that is all a package. It's part of the deal. So if the family values were strengthened and the parents take their stand and make it clear to the child that even when you are alone, you need to take personal responsibility. There are things that will destroy you, and I may not be able to monitor. I don't want to follow you. I don't want to come to your room to see what you are doing and what you are not doing. But can you take personal responsibility?
Right.
Just explaining what is useful, what is not useful. The child, you take it up.
So you make sure that you instill those values in them, so that even if you're not there, the values will carry them through how they are managing.
Very
All right.
good.
Unfortunately, we're almost running out of time for this conversation, but I'd just like to ask you this question. How then do we, come up with strategies that will help us have a technologically friendly environment? Doreen suggested in her home what she does. There are places you cannot go with the gadgets. There are times like during family devotions, dinner time, you cannot be able to use your gadget as you do that. Is this important, and what more can you share with us in terms of some strategies parents can employ to better manage the screen time for their children?
I like that approach. We talk about family rules, family values. They are not written anywhere in most cases, but children can be asked to follow the rules. They are part of the family. And what I also call family memorandum of understanding, family MOU, is also very important, where they sit together, parents and children, and they are able to bring out, what do you want? Give them the freedom to give their opinion. If this is going to destroy you, if it's taking too much of your time, what do you think of that? As opposed to the parent imposing the rules on the children. Involve the children in saying, because they also know what is good for them, what is not good for them. Actually, that's why they hide. Sometimes the child will want to hide in the kitchen, somewhere in their bedrooms. They even lock the door. They don't want to be disturbed. Find out from them, what do they want? And then you get, as a parent, the standard way of doing it. The parents still take charge. And the parent, again I say, should never accept to be put on the back seat.
All right.
In charge.
All right. I wish we could continue, having this conversation. But your final words as we wrap up this conversation, just tell us, how do we ensure that content generators, such as the media and those managing some of these websites, also take responsibility on what they put out there when it comes to the safety of children? And how can we hold them more accountable in the future when it comes to addressing this particular issue?
That's very important. I like speaking to parents. I like talking to Kenyans and people of goodwill. It is our collective responsibility as the persons who generate the content, the information that goes out there. It's important that we care about what it means and what it will make the child to be. We are talking about the future. Children are our future. They are the future of any nation. And so we need to instill values of responsibility, starting with the adults, and the child will become responsible. They'll be able to make choices, because making choices is key.
Thank you so much, Jen, for creating time for us tonight. Of course, it's a conversation that we can always pick up in the near future. But so far, I believe that you have learned a thing or two on how to manage screen time for your children in your home environment. Start that conversation today. Do you know your son or daughter's password? Begin there. I'm just going to be handing it over to John Jacob Kioria for the latest in the world of sports.
Now let's get into sports. And reigning Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia booked a ticket to the CAF Confederation Cup after trouncing perennial nemesis AFC Leopards 4-1 through post-match penalties in the final of the FKF Cup played at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Gor Mahia shortstopper Gad Matthews was the hero as Gor Mahia trounced our rivals FC Leopards to book a ticket to the CAF Confederation Cup. The two sides settled for a goalless draw in regulation time, forcing the match to go into penalties. Matthews saved 2 penalties, while his teammates scored all their spot kicks, eventually giving them the title.
Still in football, hosts Bandari played to a 1-1 draw against visitors Nairobi City Stars in a closely contested Kenyan Premier League match played at Mbaraki Sports Club. Elsewhere, Kakamega Homeboys humbled Ulinzi Stars 3-1.
Midfielder Peter Opio gave Nairobi City Stars the lead in the 48th minute. William Wadri ensured the Dockers shared the spoils after scoring the equalizer in the 66th minute. In other matches, Wazito were held to a 1-0 draw by Posta Rangers, while Swapaka and Vihiga United played to a similar score.
Tuko happy that hatujapoteza game, but na feel ni game of course tungefaa kushinda kwa sababu zile chances tume create na venye pia tume contain this guy kwa sababu it's also a better side, but na feel performance ya players wangu imekuwa juu design tulikuwa na deserve win.
Kwa alama moja kwa mechi kama hii, na vile pia Posta wamekuwa kwa ushambulizi hapo kwa ulinzi kiungo kwa chakati. Nafikiri alama moja kwetu leo tuwezi sema ati ni point imekuja rahisi.
Bandari currently occupy position 6 on the log with 33 points. Tusk FC are part at the top with 47 points ahead of KCB, FC Leopards and Gor Mahia and Kariobangi Sharks, who complete the top 5 teams on the log.
And now England produced a magnificent display as they thrashed Ukraine in Rome to set up a Euro 2020 semi-final against Denmark at Wembley. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi scored a free kick and set up 2 goals to inspire Argentina to a 3-0 win over Ecuador and set up a Copa America semi-final against Colombia.
By producing a performance of composure and the highest quality to continue their impressive progress in the tournament. Hurricane was back to his predatory best after struggling the group stage, following up his goal against Germany by poking home a superb pass from Raheem Sterling after only 4 minutes. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi scored a free kick and set up 2 goals to inspire Argentina to a 3-0 win over Ecuador and set up Copa America semi-final against Colombia. The 34-year-old forward provided assists for Rodrigo de Paul after 41 minutes and Lautaro Martinez late on. He then called in a free kick in injury time after Piero Ansip was sent off for a foul on Angel Di Maria. Last 4 opponents, Colombia beat Uruguay 4-2 on penalties following a goalless draw. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
England is really doing well, and probably you'll see them in the finals playing against Italy. Finally, in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks reached the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974 by overcoming the Atlanta Hawks to win the Eastern Conference title. The Bucks earned a 118-107 victory in Game 6 to claim the best of 7 series 4-2.
Chris Middleton scored 32 points and Jrue Holiday to propel a Milwaukee side missing injured star player Giannis Antetokounmpo to the win. They will play Western Conference victors, the Phoenix Suns, in the final. The first game in the best of 7 series will take place in Phoenix on Wednesday.
Middleton. Lopez set the pick. Portis for Lopez, and he stuffs.
Middleton was again key for the Bucks as he scored 16 straight points and 23 in total for his side in the third quarter to give them a 91-72 lead going into the final period. Chris Middleton turned Milwaukee's anxiety into jubilation. The 2-time All-Star forward scored 23 of his game-high 32 points in the third quarter to lead the Bucks to a 118-107 victory, clinching the franchise's first finals appearance since 1974.
that's how we wrap it up, but a lot is emanating on social media, John, about this topic. I don't know whether you're a victim, but that's a conversation for another day. I don't know how your home is like. But you know, James Otieno, he's saying, I do not know what my son watches till midnight. I do not understand. Thank you for the topic tonight. Of course, Rosemary Nyambura from Muranga County, you say thank you for the conversation tonight. I'd like to appreciate those parents who have managed to curb this particular vice in their homes. Thank you so much also, and I can continue on and on, but you appreciate your feedback on social media about what you are discussing.
Absolutely. There's somebody who was saying, and I think that's the time when you were doing the interview, the problem you see is that you have like two centers of power where children go to school and they are beaten and thrashed. When they come back home, nobody does that. So there's enforcement of discipline from one end, but the other end, there's a bit of laxity when it comes to enforcing of discipline, and those are very critical issues. But probably before we point fingers to the children, we should have the three fingers pointing at us.
To us, what are we doing? What are we doing? What standards have we set for these children? Thank you so much, and thank you for watching, also for creating time and interacting with us on social media. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Byron Aboli.
Clearly, you don't need to sit again. It's time to exit. Have yourself a good night. My name is John Jacob Kioria.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Watu wangu wa mjei, strong. Unajua kurejista na NCA, National Construction Authority, inamaanisha nini?
Inamaanisha umetambulika kama fundi wa mijengo hodari kulingana na ujuzi wako.
Inamaanisha umesimamiwa kiafya, kikazi, kimalipo na kisheria kote Kenya.
Inamaanisha pia umeaminika. Wewe sio fundi bandia, na kwa hivyo utaitiwa kazi mingi.
Be sure, Jenga Smart, to ensure the safe construction of all residential, commercial structures, roads and other works. The National Construction Authority is directing all contractors to be registered with and workers accredited by the authority to ensure compliance with the construction regulations of Kenya. Reach our customer care team on 0709 126 173, 0709 126 102 and 0709 126 172. National Construction Authority. Building a strong Kenya.
Vile bibi wa kime na wazimu.
Zari. Mchawi. Miaka yote mnakaa naye singemjua. Jana wewe nilikuvumilia. Na leo hii watakutia wazimu.
Ushasikia chizi akirogwa tena?
Unacheza na moto.
Ni usiku sasa, matatizo kuna nini?
Quiero amarte de una una forma differente, de otro modo.
What do you want now? After what you did, I don't want you anywhere near me.
Please forgive me for what happened.
Do you think what you did to me can be easily forgiven?
You have no restraint when you've set your mind on doing something.
Goodness, you're so cold and cruel. How can you, my own son?
Look, I swear to you, I'm telling the whole truth. All I want you to do is to contact my sister to let her know that I'm here. And I want you to inform her that she's in danger. All that I'm asking you is to get in touch with my sister and let her know, please.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Hello, good people. This is another amazing time that the Lord has made, and you're here to, to celebrate the doings of the Lord. Nashukuru sana because, our work as a Save a Life, we highlight such cases. Not wanakuja wanasaidia. And if you remember Samuel Wambogo, mguu yake ilikuwa imeinama when we came to